Kenneth Grant wrote, "An essential part of Spare's technique lay in deliberate forgetfulness, and this is the part which a novice finds extremely difficult. One is reminded of the king who lavished a fortune on an itinerant alchemist who had successfully manufactured the philosopher's stone. After giving the king lengthy and complicated instructions, which the king repeated by heart, the alchemist smiled and said approvingly, 'Yes, your highness has remembered every detail perfectly. There is just one further point to remember. For 3 minutes before the alchemical substance congeals, you must concentrate your mind upon its luster as it seethes in the alembic. But during this time, you should on no account let the thought of greenness cross your mind for even a moment.' The king thanked the alchemist and prepared to make the stone. Everything went according to plan until the last few minutes, when the mind of the king was invaded by an army of green objects, which he was powerless to banish. This alchemist was probably related to the men who made the emperor's famous new clothes. Wikipedia says, 2 swindlers arrive at the capital city of an emperor who spends lavishly on clothing at the expense of state matters. Posing as weavers, they offer to supply him with magnificent clothes that are invisible to those who are stupid or incompetent. The emperor hires them, and they set up looms and go to work. A succession of officials, and then the emperor himself, visit them to check their progress. Each sees that the looms are empty but pretends otherwise to avoid being thought a fool. Finally, the weavers report that the emperor's suit is finished. They mime dressing him and he sets off in a procession before the whole city. The townsfolk uncomfortably go along with the pretense, not wanting to appear inept or stupid, until a child blurts out that the emperor is wearing nothing at all. The people then realize that everyone has been fooled. Although startled, the emperor continues the procession, walking more proudly than ever. It's amazing how much psychological genius fairy tales contain. People always fool themselves in order not to appear foolish, and therefore prove exactly how foolish they are. Spare's reason for forgetting the desire just as it was invoked was that the conscious mind must know nothing of the transaction. It was up to the unconscious mind to make the magic happen. Conscious desires typically take a long time to materialize. They might not materialize at all. Unconscious desires, by contrast, often materialize rapidly. Consciousness gets in the way of magic. The unconscious, by contrast, smooths the path of magic and is the home of magic. What method did Spare design to forget his desire during the period of magical evocation? Kenneth Grant wrote, "Spare called the process union through absent-mindedness, and advocated the yogic method of emptying the mind of all but the sigil. When vividly visualized, the emblem or sigil mysteriously stirs the subconscious and a corresponding image, or set of images, arises in the mind. In proportion to the power of belief in the sigil, so is the clarity of the image which it evokes. If the sigil taps a layer of ancient or cosmic memory, some astonishing images surge into the mind, and the skillful sorcerer is able to project them into the astral mind stuff of other individuals, so that they imagine the image to be a palpable presence. Spare could influence elemental phenomena as well as the minds of other people. Sorcerers are mind controllers. They are natural psychologists. A form of modern sorcery is advertising. In just a few seconds, the best advertisements can, with a handful of images, sound bites, and characters, captivate their audience and compel them to buy whatever was advertised. Isn't that magic? Adverts can reach right into your pocket and take out your money. H.P. Lovecraft wrote, "We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far." Actually, we can voyage as far as we like, but only by becoming masters of the unconscious. It's the key to the infinite spaces. Spare had a magical alphabet known as the atavistic alphabet, or the alphabet of desire, which was designed to awaken deep and remote atavistic strata of the psyche. Such an alphabet was instrumental in evoking the quadriga sexualis, the 4 horsemen or powers of sex. Spare said that most of his formulae for sex magic came from the spirit of a Delphic oracle who communed with him.